the president who built a nation without the World Bank. He sold his government's entire fleet of Mercedes cars and made his ministers drive Renault 5s, the cheapest car in the country. He was a president who banned air conditioning in his own office, arguing he couldn't enjoy that kind of luxury when most of his people couldn't even dream of it. In just 4 years, he got over 2 million children vaccinated against measles, yellow fever, and meningitis. He launched a campaign to plant 10 million trees to stop the desert from swallowing his country. Under his leadership, school attendance soared, and he outlawed horrific practices like female genital mutilation and forced marriages. He did all this by rejecting the path laid out by the World Bank and IMF, and by calling on Africa to repudiate its colonial-era debt. And for that, he was murdered at age 37. Betrayed by his closest friend. This is the story of Thomas Sankara, the president who dared to build a nation on its own terms and paid the ultimate price. A man often called Africa's Che Guevara. His story is one of defiant self-reliance and revolutionary change, a blueprint that continues to inspire movements for freedom across a continent. 1. The inherited struggle. To understand the man, you have to understand the nation he inherited. Before it was Burkina Faso, it was the Republic of Upper Volta, a name stamped on it by its French colonial rulers. Independence in 1960 didn't exactly bring freedom. It brought something sneakier: neo-colonialism. This was a new kind of control, not with soldiers, but with crushing debt and economic dependency. The country was one of the poorest on earth, hammered by drought, famine, and a literacy rate of just 13%. It was a nation rich in spirit but trapped in a system designed to keep it poor. Into this world, Thomas Isidore Noel Sankara was born in 1949. He was charismatic, fiercely intelligent, and he chose a military career. But his training abroad and his experiences at home opened his eyes. He saw the sickening gap between the rich ruling elite and the bone-deep poverty of his people. He saw how international aid often just helped the donors, creating a cycle of dependency he called a welfare mentality. He quickly became a popular figure, known for his integrity, his skills as a guitarist, and his powerful speeches. In 1983, he was appointed prime minister, but his radical ideas were too much for the establishment. He was quickly fired and put under house arrest, a move meant to silence him. Instead, it made him a hero. The people didn't see a threat, they saw their only hope. So on August 4, 1983, a popular coup, organized by his friend and comrade Blaise Compaoré, swept him into power. At just 33 years old, Sankara became president, not of Upper Volta, but of a dream of a new kind of nation. 2. The audacious solution. The revolution's first act wasn't a policy, it was a new name. Sankara cast off the colonial label Upper Volta and renamed the country Burkina Faso, which means land of upright people. He even wrote the new national anthem himself, weaving the revolution's spirit into the nation's very soul. This wasn't just symbolic. It was a clear message to the world, and more importantly to his own people. A new day had dawned, an era of African pride and self-determination. Sankara's vision was built on a simple, powerful idea: he who feeds you, controls you. He believed political independence was a joke without economic independence, and so he launched one of the most daring projects of self-sufficiency the continent had ever seen. He rejected loans from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. At a time when Africa was drowning in foreign debt, Sankara stood before the Organization of African Unity and called for a united front to simply refuse to pay it, calling debt a new form of colonialism. Instead of looking outward for help, he turned inward. His government nationalized land and mineral wealth, making sure the country's resources served its own people. He launched a massive land reform program, taking land from feudal landlords and giving it directly to the peasants who farmed it. The results were stunning. In just 3 years, wheat production doubled, and the country achieved food self-sufficiency, a massive achievement that proved an African nation could feed itself. But this revolution wasn't just about food, it was about transforming society. His vaccination commando was a legendary public health blitz. In a matter of weeks, they vaccinated over 2 million children, slashing death rates from meningitis, yellow fever, and measles. To fight back the desert, he launched a program that planted over 10 million trees, a great green wall against the encroaching Sahel. He knew a nation couldn't be upright if half its people were held down. He outlawed forced marriages and female genital mutilation, practices that had devastated women for centuries. He appointed women to high-ranking government posts and pushed for them to be in all parts of society, famously declaring that the revolution could not succeed without the emancipation of women. And Sankara led by example. He lived a modest life, selling off the government's fleet of luxury Mercedes and making the Renault 5, the cheapest car in the country, the official ride for public servants. When he died, his personal belongings were famously few: a car, 4 bikes, 3 guitars, and a broken fridge. He wasn't just a president, he was the living, breathing symbol of his own revolution, proving that leadership means service, not getting rich. 3. The price of independence. But you can't build a new world without making enemies in the old one. Sankara's success was a direct threat to the way things were. His anti-imperialist stance and his rejection of the debt system angered powerful international players, especially the old colonial power France. By proving a country could develop without the World Bank and IMF, he was showing a dangerous alternative. If others followed his lead, the global balance of power could shift. Enemies were growing inside the country too. His reforms took power away from traditional tribal chiefs who had long profited from forced labor and tribute payments. His anti-corruption drives angered parts of the urban middle class and military officials who were used to a life of privilege. While he was incredibly popular with the masses, he was also criticized by groups like Amnesty International for his authoritarian streak, which included banning unions and detaining political opponents without trial. The forces gathering against him, both inside and out, were closing in. It all came to a head on October 15, 1987. During a meeting, a hit squad burst in. Sankara reportedly urged his colleagues to stay inside, saying, "It's me they want." He walked out with his hands raised and was gunned down, along with 12 of his colleagues. The man who took power was his closest friend, his brother-in-arms, Blaise Compaoré, the very man who had helped him take power 4 years earlier. For 27 years, Compaoré ruled Burkina Faso, crushing any investigation into Sankara's death and trying his best to erase his legacy. For decades, it seemed like justice was dead too. Conclusion: but you can't kill an idea. Decades after his assassination, Sankara's legacy is more powerful than ever. In 2014, a massive popular uprising, led by a new generation of young Burkinabé calling themselves the Children of Sankara, finally kicked Blaise Compaoré out of power. They were inspired by grainy videos of his speeches and stories of his revolution, shared widely on social media. It was Revolution 2.0, proof that his vision was still alive. And then, after 34 long years, a trial was finally held. In 2022, a military court found Blaise Compaoré guilty of complicity in the murder of Thomas Sankara and sentenced him to life in prison. Compaoré, living in exile, was tried in absentia, but for the people of Burkina Faso and Sankara's supporters everywhere, it was a monumental victory for justice. Today, from activist movements fighting neo-colonialism to young leaders searching for a new path, Sankara's name is a rallying cry. He stands for incorruptible leadership, Pan-African pride, and the radical, audacious belief that African nations must be the masters of their own destiny. He showed the world that development isn't about taking aid with strings attached. It's about empowering people to build their own future. He proved you could do in 4 years what others claimed would take a century. His story leaves us with a powerful, nagging question. Sankara gave the world a blueprint for a self-sufficient, dignified, and truly independent Africa. He was killed for it, but the blueprint is still there. So, could his model be the key to unlocking the continent's future? And is the world finally ready to listen? Let us know what you think in the comments. If this story inspired you, give it a like and subscribe for more stories of the leaders who dared to change our world.